already shown them we want to fight for this. We have our ideas. Fnatic come in round 3 with some counterplay. Now, Shock Dart goes through to destroy the trap as well, further taking the info out of their hands. Fnatic are doing a good job of controlling the map so far, but they haven't made a decision on where they're going yet.
Kiko's dash is gone. This now becomes a lot more dangerous, and well, he's going to be met with a headshot from Durka. Normally you try and escape, but in rounds where you have those weaker weapons, there's always going to be those risks taken, those gambles that aren't expected. The problem now, though, is that there's a lot of weak weaponry when it comes to this B-side defense.
Yeah, I mean, starting it out, Enzo will grab one with the Ares. Not my favorite weapon, not one that finds a lot of success when it is picked up, but especially not in open combat. It's a good start. The smoke certainly helped them, but 35 seconds, still plenty of time for Fnatic to get into this site. The Danger Man could be nuts if he's left unchecked. That wall back from Leo is clean, and Mystic's being spotted on the site. 25 seconds. They've got to up the pace and make their way through. Leo's thinking about spamming. Good damage done. Nats on 26. Still good for one in the back. The cage up. He won't be able to get the weapon. Even the risk of further spams too much. 2v3. From this point forward, damage is the name of the game. Leo's getting a little more damage through the wall. He's owning it up with the Odin.
It's unfortunate for the opposing side, but he's basically managed to clean up the round. Yumpy has retrieved at rifle. We saw him have a pop-off game.
Bikin mahal sih itu tinggal jam.
Their necessary victory versus Gentlemates. Might even get to see his chamber a little bit later on, but needs quite a lot here. First kill does go his way, making things ever so costly, but the double peak from Fnatic is sublime.
Mahal kali, 3 mati, GG banget, GG
No, it
banget.
was anything but costly as it was. Fnatic have found one. They've shown a lot of presence on this map as well. The spams early on, the traps destroyed, the pace change in the mid-round as well. They just pumped the brakes and left Kiko with a dash online, a position he couldn't hold, and once the dash faded away, he had no way out. Opens the door for them to push the site. Even then, they make it through market, pump the brakes, go back to spam battles, go back to trying to control, grab the recons up to find information. This isn't a team that's tunnel visioning their way into a site. They're showing Liquid they're here to play on the same level, and spams early. It's going to be a fight between these two, and a good bit of damage out of that last one. Leo's on 28.
This is the thing. You're battling a man who loves to play the Odin on this side of the map. Enzo will do it in every single scenario. In their match versus GX, they had an incredible comeback, and a lot of that was him retaking with an Odin. I hated it, but it did work. So I say to challenge him at his own game, it's not the way I'd go about it. But we'll see if it's going to work out. See if the turret is going to meet the same fate as probably many a player will in this matchup. And those early fights, if anything, have just left Leo with a gun that you really don't want on low HP. Like, if you have a Vandal, maybe you can hit a shot or two. But then Odin, it's not going to work.
Oh, you better be very clean and hidden by a wall. You know, even the utility taken out of play, going back to an alarm bot, they're worried that someone could have pushed into main and taken that space. It slows them down further on the side of Fnatic. Team Liquid respond, pulling through to the site. 2 players in Boathouse. They'll defend this one and run the clock as much as they can. They need kills on the way through. This could and likely will come down to a retake. The question is, how much damage can Nats and Enzo get done? How easy can they make that retake for their teammates? Already going well with 1, with 2, in fact. Enzo wall banging with the Odin, and Nats takes his time to swing. It's all on Durka. 75 HP, 10 seconds, and the spike down in the open. He is out of here, but he's not out scot-free. Look who's coming to say hello. Kiko, his steps might have been heard. Durka's ready, but not good enough to take the fight. The op a little bit too quick on the other side. 3-1 now for Liquid. The Let's Go Liquid chance begin.
Yeah, it's one of those rounds for Fnatic where it was clear they wanted to head in this direction pretty much from the beginning. But when you know you're up against an Odin like that, you just can't afford to be slow. Like, you can't afford to allow for the rotations, to have that extra utility in play. And eventually it just came down to him having time to isolate. Like, he's able to wall bang a guy, then switch up to the next position. It's not the most mobile of guns. You need to be a little bit quicker with it. And what Durka being the last one left alive almost shows how poorly that went for Fnatic. Nonetheless, it's not going to be too much of a problem with it being so early in the game. Liquid, though, off to a flying start. It's great to see, because a lot of the time, as you've mentioned, they're one to let leads slip, but if things go poorly, they're not the greatest comeback team in the world.
We've seen it again and again. I mean, in this series as well, we're talking map pool-wise for Liquid, very
Kanannya
comfortable
nggak
pool. Ice Force,
dicek.
Lotus Ascent, ones they've loved to play all throughout this.
I'm surprised we didn't see bind. That's the big one.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. For Fnatic, I can understand their reasoning, but a risk nonetheless. And Liquid need to be very cautious in this round. Of course, Fnatic don't have a full buy, so we're not giving too much respect to the attacking side on this one with mostly pistols to play with, but Liquid do make those mistakes. We've seen how the numbers advantages can be taken and converted into wins. Cam spotting them on the walk up. Good information now. It's a mid and B main play that rotates a little bit slow to come over. In fact, we've seen the Shrouded step straight through to market the swing, though, caught by Nats. Ever vigilant, ever ready for these fights. Left just into Leo's hands. He does well to find Nats, but that trade is all they get. 4
Ngeselin
rounds
anjir
on the board now for
Odinnya,
Liquid.
sumpah.
This wasn't one that, obviously, Fnatic invested a lot into, but it comes out clean, and it's a money-making opportunity for Liquid that they have cashed in.
Yeah, getting better in terms of the finances. Operator in the hands of Kiko. Had it already, but we'll continue into the next round, and it seems like Fnatic have given up
Odinnya ngeselin,
to
sumpah.
battle the Odin in warbangs, as they're going to go in with the rifles. Also having that hunter
Harus ada Odin
always good
satu
for
sih itu.
some of these early pickups, especially if you do want to try and isolate that Odin player. Not going to have the same maneuverability with that gun in hand. For now, though, again, looking a little bit slower.
Hancurin turret.
Style from the side of Liquid. You've had the Odin spamming every single round. Okay, now it's taken by an operator. That means they can switch up that utility elsewhere. Already going to spot a little bit of the battle coming in for mid control.
Dan ngancurin OP.
Team Liquid burning up their smokes for A main control. And there seems to be an idea there from Fnatic to
Nggak
contest
ada,
it.
nggak dikasih
Boaster
space
playing the
sama
other side,
sekali.
waiting for his gap, but little does he know.
Di
Yep,
push
he's gonna
semua,
push the
A
same.
main, B main di push.
Getting up close.
Nggak ada space
Was looking
ini.
for the fight, but backs off.
Fnatic.
Knife gonna come back into play. There's one spotted outside. You get the idea now. Boaster being here, no ult online.
Nah, Boaster itu
They're
nggak
angling
ketahuan.
towards this A side. It looks like that's how it'll pan out in Liquid. Well, they have certainly read this with the rotations. Already 4 players close by and ready to help out on this fight. Mystic doesn't seem to need help, but he's got it anyways. Nats on the scene as Mystic cleans up house, and Yampi's advanced position pays off tenfold. Nothing left but Leo again.
Yeah, and they invested at Hunter's Fury, seemingly a little bit late. It looked like they were trying to make contact and then have that as a disruptive tool, but it really wasn't. They basically lost the round before it was even utilized. You had 2 players just hoping to try and take some of those fights, and Liquid were so prepared for that aggression. A couple of players watching. Yopi's even going to be there to close out the round, and I am wondering when Fnatic will call a pause, because this hasn't been particularly close in the first 6 rounds.
I saw those early round adaptations.
Kalah,
push and pull on the map
Fnatic
was good.
anjir. Udah
Read over when to switch up the timing's even better. And you can't fault that second kill. Chronicle blinded him, still goes down to the wild spray. But there was a second player. You have to think, even if that goes well, they probably only get the trade. Timeout called for Fnatic, realizing there's a couple gaps in play. They can't allow that to continue.
Kesel kali, Mini malah dibuang. Mini dibuang, masukin. Oh, Mini. Kan? Ini nggak guna, ini ngapain? Ganti. Mini jadi head coach lagi. Goblok. Oh, lol. Bagus-bagus loh itu. Malam ini dijadiin itu. Nah. Telma Pudi di Genji kemarin pungkat dipegang nih orang. Malam ini yang tahun kemarin ituin dia di Fnatic jadi bisa ngangkat trofi master lama login, jadi asisten head coach. Telma Pudi.
Right now, they're being blitzed.
Bodoh
Yeah,
kali
look, at 5-1
cowok.
scoreline, it's not pretty, but how many of these games have we seen start out this way? And that team does find their footing. They bounce right back into it, and we end up at a 7-5,
Malah bawa
a
Elma
manageable
Pudi,
one with a pistol under your
ngapain
belt, and the
juga.
next, it's almost equal. For Fnatic, well, they're going to be leaning on that, hoping that this is another display of some such things.
Malah mini
A slower
dijadiin
approach,
asisten.
but one that is looking
Mending
to take
mini
control over
jadi
mid. We've
coach,
seen those
step
traps in
coach
play around
sama
mid
Budi
before, but
jadi
no shock darts
sampingan
deployed.
dari itu.
They're not looking to control the map elsewhere, which is allowing earlier rotations from Liquid, who once again have 4 players on this A site ready for the push.
Si Delkok masih ada,
This has
masih
got to be
bisa
on
sih.
Durka. Maybe goes in second. They've got some supportive utility, but they're going to try and play off the one way. It has a gamble. He actually used all of his knives in one go. Didn't even get a kill for it. That's gone horrifically. And while Mystic, he loves a TB. He loves some confidence plays.
Oh, nice.
This is maybe a little
Kan
too confident. 2 players
masih
now being
bisa.
dropped.
Mystic
Durka
ini
has a
masih
rifle
bisa.
under his belt. Potentially more guns to be found. Again, though, it's still on him for now.
The HP is trickled down massively. With 2 players bunkered down on the side, it'll be tough to break through this. Opt for Kiko, maybe a silver lining. If they can manage to draw his sight, and in fact, Kiko is starting to step away.
Dia kasih smoke depan biar bisa cross.
To bypass the off reveal from Enzo. Timed well, but it goes past the smoke. They're still safe inside it. Now they've got eyes on him. Rotations from Kiko.
Wah,
He's
la,
just
la,
not
la.
making it through. Enzo can't hold on, but the trade is quick enough. Leo,
Masih winnable sih.
same old story. Guys got the
At
lowest
least masih
first deaths
winnable
per
sih,
round
masih
for a
winnable.
reason. Barely ever goes down until the last few seconds. Now a chance in the 1v2. Isolates a fight, knows the opus last. Really nice try by Leo. And that could have been some light at the end of the tunnel for Fnatic. Instead, it gets that little bit darker. 6-1 for their opponents.
Coachnya sih masalah fanatik. Ngapain bawa Elmo? Anjir.
I think it'll be frustrating with how close it got, and it's safe to say that confidence might be the highest we've ever seen it on Liquid. Like, they are willing to buy everything. You had Mystic TPing up against weak weapons. You had Yumpy swinging with low HP. And they're 2 very different reactions. I feel like more of a sigh of relief coming out from Emil, almost giving them the way back into the game. But now look for Liquid.
Malah bawa Elmo
Almost every
Budi.
single ultimate online. Only one for information gone on the other side of things. They used a fair amount over the last couple of rounds.
They've been chipping away. Attack side this time looking a little bit different. Sight's no longer set on A, which is a good thing. Nats's setup has found its way here.
Take flight.
The mid control will be sought
Cuma
out.
ganti sentinel
Bullets
ya.
are coming close to breaking that trap. They know where it is now. Have been moved forward, but that won't be catching them by surprise.
Oh, nice,
The shot
Leo.
landed by Leo. There it is.
Nice
Might not have
banget,
killed the upper
Leo.
last round, but he starts this one out the same. Like I said, lowest first deaths. I don't know why you tried to face him early in the round.
That's definitely the plan. One of the first times we've seen Fnatic with an early advantage, and while Liquid are not just going to sit back and wait. Timing here is going to be everything. The steps have been heard. Nat's still going to get one. Yumpy's still trying to swing, but Dirk is already going to be past the angle. Enzo, though, he's been unstoppable at the back of this site, spamming away. He gets himself a kill and a second as well. The Odin Master at work, and well, he's got support as well, leaving it all onto Critical, and he just can't stop him. The Odin from the backside picks up 3. And while it's 7-1 right now for Liquid, this couldn't be going much worse for
Bisa
Fnatic.
gitu
Greatest Odin
dapatnya.
player of all time. It's the greatest. 9-2 for Enzo right now. Looking absolutely spectacular down on the stage, and what a disruptive play as well. I find it hard to look at anything else in this. They're on their way through, and you just cannot uproot this guy. Spams through that wall. You swing to face him, he spams through the other wall. Then he hides behind it for the next 2 kills to close out that 3K. Absolutely gorgeous.
Standing ahead.
Round number 9. Pressure's on, but not for Kiko. He's gone running in to take this fight, and the reveal is perfect.
Oh, the reveal in combination with Hunter's Fury. Everything working for Liquid. A setup we've seen before, but a lot of the time doesn't have that same level of success. Getting those 2 openers. Everything Fnatic is attempting is being shut down almost immediately, and again, they have to try and find a response. It's been a quiet start to this game for Althea. Not someone who goes missing for too long, but they really need somebody to step up here, and I don't think he's winning this fight. No, Yumpy just isn't missing.
Nge-pick kosongan gitu ya.
There's no stopping them. You spoke about confidence.
Ada
Well,
drone, ada
it very much is.
dan
I don't know
nge-picknya
what's on high with that
kosongan.
play. I like Leo's
Dapat
position
satu,
though.
dapat
Oh,
satu.
such a cerebral player. He's letting the first pass swinging in to catch the element of surprise. And that's just a stinger. The things this man can do. He's the last man standing. And he won't stand for much longer. Of course, it's the Odin to come in and close it out. I was starting to believe in the Leo clutch. It would have been spectacular. But instead, it is 8-1 for the defensive side.
There are a few players who've won a 1v5 in front of our eyes before. He is one of the few. But unfortunately for him, it's just not enough. And that's the problem. Is this really the plan? Okay, for a second I thought Fnatic were going to go in with a double Odin on attack, which I feel like if your whole game plan revolves around trying to kill Enzo, you've already lost. No offense to him, but
Because he doesn't know. He's 11-2. I get it, Tom. Makes sense.
I was going to say because he's not normally the man you need to target, but he is in this game. I'll give you that. Alpha is going to drop one. Those trades are out. Enzo might be in trouble here, but no, it doesn't look like the next pulse is going to connect. A guess from Leo almost manages to take out Kiko. That would have been a huge kill to find.
Well, he singed his hair bun. That's about all that's happened here. Yumpy. There's not a lot of space for him to get out of here.
Bomb grenade out.
Not a lot that they can do to try to deny. Nade is thrown through to try and counter out the lockdown. It looks like it's landed just about where it needed to. Ult used as well, so no utility to fight their way back through. But still a minute on the clock. The problem is Fnatic don't have control anywhere else. They're being flanked. They know that that's a possibility, so they just decide to fight forward. Great success with Chronicle finding that, and they know exactly where Yumpy is. What's the decision? They can take things towards A if they want, run the risk of only going into one more man, and at the end of the day, Enzo has been there a couple times, but he was spotted spraying early on short. They'll isolate Yumpy. That's the idea, and they've caught Enzo on the flank. It looks like everything's gone according to plan. Just that man left to deal with, and they will finally get it done. 8-2, the beginning of a comeback, and this is a team that never gives up.
Yeah, it's still an incredibly long road to go down. An 8-2 scoreline on the defense for Liquid already looks good. Obviously a mass change in composition and the way it runs, so it's not quite going to be the same on that attacker side, but even still, we've seen a lot of teams be able to pick up rounds on that side of the map nowadays. And I feel like Fnatic, they win this round, but a lot of it is just finally being able to catch that aggression. Like, the defense have been pushing all over the map, having set plays here and there, and this time they finally managed to stop one of them. Doesn't mean they'll be able to stop the rest.
Well, that's it. These are set plays that, in this instance, it's the first time we've seen it, right? That full mid-dive Odin spam to provide covering fire. Didn't work out. It's all good. From a defensive perspective, there's no need to fret. You reset and go back to what did work. Just sitting down and waiting for them to push on in. Being proactive at little bits of the map. Around Jenny, lot of danger with that spam going through. There he is, down and dropped. Knives out of the game. Durka still nestled in on that corner, but Mystic manages to uproot him. Okay, the advantage no longer in play for them, and that spam leaves Alpha on 6 HP. A good start to this retake already for Liquid.
A single kill for Chronicle. Given the null command. Information can be guarded by Nats as well, having that neural theft available, but for now it looks like it's going to be into those firefights. Enzo kind of waiting for someone to make a mistake. He needs his teammates to take some space, and well, that might be one. They're not aware of the position of Nats already, and he's going to drop a second. Leo, a lot of the time, has had no help. He's got to try and do it all on his own. Try and clutch this one up, and they're just defusing. The second shot connected, he's going to go right.
Nice.
Finally, Leo has his clutch. It is deserved at this point.
Leo
He
1v3.
waited so long. So many opportunities taken out of his hands, but now a clutch under his belt, the fire relit under Fnatic. 2 in a row, better than they managed so far. And just at the last minute, I said 7-5. This is what we've seen time and time again. 8-4 still possible.
The scary thing though is that it really does feel like it's Leo or bust.
Yes.
Like the rest of the team are not awake right now. Chronicle had 2 kills in the last round. He's got 3 total. Alpha's been really quiet. Durka's been okay. A lot of the time he's going to be dashing into sites. It's forgivable, but it's really scary how missing the majority of Fnatic have been. And while Durka's already gone, an opening kill coming up for the side of Kiko. Now Enzo's a little bit low. It doesn't seem like it's scared him away from these wallbangs whatsoever. And now Fnatic again have to try and find a way back into this round off a deficit. You're already going to see the information found as well from Mystic with 2 players spotted outside of B.
They'll avoid any further contact around the B site, by the looks of things, Fnatic setting their sights on A. Ult from Chronicle should get them through. Trap's already heard. Or the knife instead put in. Nonetheless, those abilities will be offline. As we see that ult used, Chronicle now suppressing the entire enemy force. Enzo down to 40, but he does some damage in return.
Reject play.
A few tickles onto Chronicles, all it amounts to. Site control fully lost. No ults to counter on the way back through. Team Liquid,
84
sure,
winnable.
an advantage to play with, but that's about the only
84
positive
winnable.
going for them right now. Take a look at Fnatic. They are miles away, playing their post plants. Late
84
lurk up through
winnable.
middle. If this takes Liquid too long to get in, they could be in a lot of trouble. I like the dash out of Kiko. I like the wall bang out of Enzo straight down onto Boaster, but here's the element they might not be ready for. The reveal shows a couple of them alpha. Now has to try to capitalize on this. He's got Chronicle with him, and both are shut down! Yumpy alone! And that's how it's gonna end. Kiko dropping that final player to leave the defuse in their hands. 9-3. I don't know how Yumpy managed to find both kills on short.
I genuinely, again, like you look at the position that Leo is in, and he's screwed. Like he's absolutely screwed, and he's still able to do some damage. Like you've got the dark coming out, but it is Yumpy just being able to get those 2 kills. But I feel like Alpha has to get something there. Like, I don't understand how he's not managing to find the impact that we've seen from so many times from these sort of positions. 9-3. Fnatic in desperate need of a response, even just to give us some semblance of hope for Icebox, because right now they are being bullied.
I mean, there's no other way to say it.
11 berapa ya?
On their defensive side,
11-3 juga sama Vitality bisa comeback.
it seems to be
Tapi
set
nggak
up
tahu
for
sih.
Team Liquid success. All 3 maps, ones that they've been
Alpha,
incredibly
Boaster, sama
confident.
Chronicle nggak nyala
If
masalahnya.
you gave them a choice to pick the 3 maps, I don't think you'd see much different from what's in front of you right now. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad for Fnatic. These maps are good for them too, and there's ideas behind why they've chosen them, but there's a risk to it, because the comfort level is there for Liquid. We can see that clearly. And the attacking side,
Waduh,
9 rounds, 6 advantage, and a pistol win under their belt here.
Oh, nail in the coffin.
Has to be.
waduh.
It's a
Kayak
straight
ada yang join.
up little bit of damage onto Yumpy. Still a full utility belt for the side of Fnatic. Multiple flashes, Chronicle and Boaster. They've got what they need to try and make a play back into the site. But even still, this is not going to be easy. Chronicle with a first. Yumpy, again, I don't know if he gets anything from these positions. Straight back from Mystic as well, but still the advantage sits with Fnatic. Onto the defuse they go. Enzo going to try and slow them down, but those counter flashes making it awkward. They're not currently defusing, and now Enzo has it all to do. Looking to try and clutch out, but it will not happen. Althea finally steps up to the plate. 3 kills with the pistol, and even a defuse for the extra orb.
A very much needed round for Fnatic procured, and good to see the smiles on their face. Like we say, this is the problem with a squad like Fnatic. No matter what lead you stack up against them, they're always going to come into it as if it's 0-0. Play for every round. If anything, they'll play for the clips. Alpha, bit of a resurgence from that man as well. Being a tough first half, but he just
Nggak bisa
splits
juga
open
sih
this
kalau
side, and
digituin.
even closes out the round. The 3-piece for him, putting him back up around the middle of the board. These players waking up on Fnatic, it's a good sign.
What is this? What is this by? The attack side, Spectre and Bucky.
Yeah.
What?
In a round you'd
Mau
normally
force kah?
Liquid, what on earth are you about to attempt? Like,
Keep in mind, this is a buy. I
yeah,
mean,
it's
Enzo and
Nats has not
Yumpy.
bought, but everyone else has. This is odd.
It is one of the stranger second rounds after losing a pistol I've seen. There's many ways to buy up in these rounds, Tom, and I think a lot of teams will go for the Stinger. Or at least for uniform buys across the board, but let's see what the ideas are. Fnatic might be surprised on the way back through with what they're about to face off
Fnatic
against,
nggak
but a
mau
lot of it falls
fight
down to Yumpy and Enzo.
side-nya, anjir.
Those pistols still being
Side-nya
able to do the
dilepas
damage.
mulu.
A drone bought up will be expended, and although it doesn't find a whole lot thanks to the knife coming through, it does
Side-nya
delay them
dilepas
slightly.
sama Fnatic.
Got a ping off, Durka on his way
Main
around,
retake
outlaw in
mulu.
hand. Everybody now one shot, 2 and barring Yumpy, and there's
Nah,
the
lagi itu
finding
dong.
value up top though. Leo's good for 2, almost for 3. He's made it winnable, made it doable for the side of Fnatic.
Oh, yeah.
Only face off against the Eco Nats. The low buy man in play.
Nice.
He won't even find one.
What the?
Maybe if he had a Bucky, Tom, that could have been different.
Nice. Berarti
Worryingly
96.
close as well. That's the scary thing. And if he wants to, he could even play a hero rifle, which he's already bought, then try and do some extra damage going into this round. It seems like a way to just almost try and damage your opponent's economy as much as possible. The only thing about it is, if you don't win either of the rounds, okay, maybe you've kept them honest, but you've done it with them getting 2 more rounds than they would have had. So it definitely has its risks about it. And because of that failed force buy, even though it was costly because they invested, it's not a success.
I do enjoy the vision of leaving that slow buy as well, because this guy isn't involved in any of those initial fights. He's lurking up through mid, so if he has like a stinger or something like that, he's dead to a mid fight anyways. And if he doesn't, if he only has the classic, well then the only way he's getting involved in the fight is if he does manage to sneak behind them, which is exactly what happens. Then the weapon doesn't matter so much.
I do think he did get 1 kill.
He got it on short,
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So he snuck up short, so why give him a weapon to flank with when the 4 guys fighting should have the weapons, and he can then have this if things go wrong. So, very good idea. I like it.
Has, however, given that road a little bit of a boost for Fnatic. If they close this round out, especially with bots, you're going to have Nats needing to go nuclear. It might be a bit of a surprise though. Somebody even having a rifle, and yeah, Boaster has met that surprise. Unfortunately,
Boaster mati kan
his
bener kan.
demise at the hands of Alpha, and now leaves it all onto Mystic. He's going to try some tricks, but that dart has kind of taken the magic away.
It has a little bit, hasn't it? Pulled the curtain up, and you can see it in
Yeah,
broad daylight.
more.
3-round gap. Hell of a difference from where we were just
3
15
more.
minutes ago. Fnatic have really come back into things. 3
He's got 20
in a row.
kills. Leo is
My
20
God,
at 11,
lucky.
and they are losing by 3. He is having an insane performance, and that's the thing. One of the bits that has me most excited about casting this matchup, even in comparison to what we've seen in the past, is just the depth of talent we have on either side. Like, you're talking about players like Leo, Chronicle, Alpha, Dirk. We already talk about how crazy they are on an individual level. You look at the other side, Nats, Yumpy have been there for a while. The young guns coming up from that tier 2 for the exact same reason. One of these teams is out.
Big mid play from Team Liquid. They've made a lot of noise on the way through. You can see Leo is waiting to check it out. The flash should come through. He's ready for it. Anti-flash on the corner, but they're not pushing through. Wise to the potential trap plays.
Sabar
Showing
banget,
presence
anjir.
and then moving back in the other direction. This will put pressure onto the likes of Chronicle and Boaster. The two
Masih ada
players
Molly,
defending the
masih
same side.
ada
It's about
pisau.
try-
Lover mulu dah.
all over. A lot of rifles for Liquid, but you know, they don't have those ultimates. They don't have their way through. But Mystic's paranoia, I assume, is going to lead the charge as they burst their way in. No, in fact, this is IP. Chronicle almost gets timing by it.
Chronicle had his knife though.
Boaster pakai apa Boaster?
It's going to give quite a bit of information for the rest of the team to rotate, but they need to get a move on. They're slowly being surrounded.
Nice,
The thing is,
Boaster
the
masih
Boaster's
di
position is going to make things quite a bit more awkward. They're going to get to hold on to quite a lot of ground. It's more so how many can Chronicle take. The answer's already 1, the second not quite going in his favor. And they have managed to isolate one of the battles at least.
Ketahuan,
Alpha already going
Natsnya.
down. Nat's waiting on the corner. Alpha
Nice.
runs it and wins the fight this time. Puts it back into an even scenario with
Boaster.
Boaster still holding onto that ground. Kiko desperately low on HP, but he's got Mystic alongside him. And now it's down to Leo again, and not this time.
NT.
Liquid turn things back to hit double digits first and still have
Itu
themselves a
Boaster
4-round lead.
di
That
smoke
smoke came up on him,
anjir.
and
Ah,
just in time. Boaster was about to have the swing of a lifetime. It would have been 3 players looking the other way to try and deal with the one down below, but Mystic got it off just in the nick of time to block that vision. And then obviously gets his own kill up top the very same way. Big round from him, not just utility, but the rifle in his hand. And for the side of Fnatic, down by 4, coming up against a lot of ultimates now as well. Keep in mind for Liquid, it was 3-0 start to this half into Fnatic's hands, but they force bought. They did a crazy force buy that didn't work out. Hero rifle for round 3. His rifles come back out. They're working that a little bit better up until now. Beautiful disruptive play from Alpha Air. Spike on the floor, and Yumpy almost irretrievable at this point.
But yeah, the worst thing is
Oh,
the ult
tidak.
was actually cancelled
Alah, aku
by the
jantung
KO.
betul.
Nice bait though.
Apa
They've actually
sih?
managed to trade that out quite evenly. Now they've got to be careful of Enzo's gun. And
Lah,
actually,
salah.
Leo's diving through. High amounts of risk, little reward from the Fnatic side. They've gone from having an advantage to, well, an evening up, but never mind.
Nice
Just
banget.
like that, it's a flip of a coin. As now a couple of players go down on the other side.
Mystics here in those
Wow,
steps,
wow,
but
wow.
they know that TP was used close. It was heard. He's just about dodged Boaster and knife out. It's the freest kill of Mystic's life. He's down to
Nice.
32. It's at least a headshot that drops him in the end, so it's all onto Enzo. Shock Dart gone up straight in the air. It's going to be bouncing around for a little bit. He's trying to make them think that he's moved position towards main. He's buying time, but no. Here he is instead. The Odin doesn't find the first fight, but it snipes Durka out of the air.
Wow.
All left on the Chronicle. He'll be revealed in a moment, but safe behind the generator with 29 HP. Chronicle comes
He's
out on
checking
top.
for another one.
It could have been.
Aku lagi
Can you
ngikutin yang di
imagine?
TikTok
He
cosplay
steps on that
jantung.
spike to defuse it, and
Cosplay
down
apa
comes the shock
lagi
dart.
itu,
But
ya
no,
Allah.
not today.
That's actually the
Cosplay
funny thing there.
jantung
I
nggak
think
tuh?
if Enzo dies,
Kalian
maybe a second
jantungan
earlier,
gak sih?
Maybe.
that other shot dart
Maybe.
probably kills Chronicle, because it's only because he saw the first one that he goes, okay, I should probably keep an eye in case there's another one.
Udah segitu lari langsung di
A back and forth, and you can still see
Durka
Fnatic taking
agak
a lot
anjir
of
sih
risks
gituan.
in these fights, but with a lower buy.
Maupun diul. Kue tolol pelatih goblok.
He's gonna be livid when he watches that back.
Udah bagus-bagus masih.
Probably sound like 30 cool
El
quotes,
Maupun.
and that's the one they put up. Wow, it looks like a pretty pacey attempt was going to come through.
Goblok
It's been cancelled out.
anjir.
Chronicle instant popping the ult after steps are heard, and the stampede of Team Liquid comes to an immediate halt. The aggression from Fnatic replaces it. Durka's walking out without law in hand. Wanted to use his dash to find some free space and a free duel, but nothing's being offered up right now.
This is definitely where the game starts to get a little bit more dangerous for the side of Liquid. They managed to build up a pretty hefty lead in that first half, a streak of rounds, but we're starting to see those heroes, well, I would say heroes other than Leo, come online alongside Leo. Because he's been there the whole time, and I'm not going to take anything away from him. A close position from Boaster on the judge. I think it's versus the Bladestorm. They could have its problems, but he's just going to be spamming, looking to try and do as much damage as possible. And he's done damage, he's just not got any kills for it. A decent start to the round for the side of Liquid. They've got to deal with Chronicle, and that's exactly what Kiko does. Now that's another gun on the ground. They still have Hunter's Fury, this Bladestorm's still up, and Durka's tagged.
30 seconds left.
Durka could be in trouble as well. That cage about to fade. Kiko's aware of it. He was watching it before the cage went up, and he'll be watching it when it goes down. But Durka finds them both. 2 barrels and 2 kills. Nats last man standing, swung by Leo. He didn't stand a chance. 10 rounds for Liquid, 8 for Fnatic.
Cosplay jantung apa jadi jantungan?
We were basically waiting for Durka to go down there, as it just seemed like they were
Seemed
so
inevitable.
ready. And instead, well, there's that little bit of finish magic to bring them home another round. 10 to 8. The difference down to just 2. A single round is all the Liquid have managed when it comes to this attack side. But again, still got that Hunter's Fury. Still got themselves that Odin being purchased back up, although it hasn't had the same level of success just yet in comparison to the first half. On the other side of things, lockdown available as well, so you may see Fnatic attempt a retake if it gets to the late round. And with Alpha being solo, I almost wonder if it would just be used for delay.
Here.
I'm nervous when I see Durka getting aggressive like that. Sitting inside the smoke, looking for an opportunity. Dash is being used. Here he goes. The spam, it's a little too tight. The lip of the catwalk has blocked him off completely. And now it looks like he's going to give up on the aggression. No dash to get out. Cloudburst used instead. He'll dodge the shock darts, and Durka's out scot-free. They have lost map control. They haven't found the picks they were looking for that left them 3 stacked up on A. Now they go back out to find it, and Chronicle's about to step right into the crosshair of Yumpy. And it turns out Chronicle's a little quicker. He was ready for that position. And now a 5v4 unfolds that leaves Team Liquid thinking their best option is to run it back to the A site. But Chronicles come back to reinforce the troops. Not only that, but you've got Boaster here on the angle, and Durka up close, ready to fight. He'll only get the 1, but he's got plenty of teammates to fill the gaps. 40 seconds on the clock. Okay, Boaster down for 1, but that's good enough. Fnatic just need to stagger this aggression.
Yeah, and this is where if they want to, they still have that lockdown available. It's so risky from Chronicle. Almost ending up punished in a scenario. I said they didn't need to. They have that lockdown. They can force players out of the site. Mystic is going to have to retreat and just play this one in post. Both players, in fact, going all the way back to the corner spot. And there we go. Wow, it's a good thing he did hold on to that nade. Now they can create some really awkward scenarios, just sticking this one through all the way, leaving it down to just Nats on 29, and he just has to save the gun. Solid from Fnatic in the retake. And while Liquid, I wouldn't mind to see a pause on their side now.
Yeah. After losing 6 of the last 7 rounds, I think it's a fair time for Liquid to call a timeout and the prediction comes true.
It's forgivable for the first few. As we said, they took a lot of risks. They went through
Bagus
investments.
banget
They
dia
went
bisa
around, but
nembak
then after
sana
that point,
Chronicle.
they've been shut down. A lot of the early fights have started to go the way of Fnatic. As said, like players like Chronicle have really started to come alive. As said, it was a really slow start.
Bisa tahu celah gitu ya. Di kontennya bisa tahu ya. Sumpah Helma Pudi keluarin aja lah sumpah. Lupa gua lu. Oke.
Success that they would have done over on the attack. And needed a momentum reset, needed something to come in straight away though.
Lupa gua lu.
Hunter's Fury popped. It's a plan to try and isolate Boaster. It's done a little bit of damage, but he's still standing.
Yeah, Shrouded Step got him out without too much to be worried about. And the stacks up on A are pretty decent. Boaster's the only one actually sat on site, but there's going to be a lot of support utility coming his way. And quick retakes from this side. Paranoia used. If anything, this is going to spur Team Liquid forward. The big flash taken out of play, a big piece of utility. Now they look to the site itself. They just need to uproot these players, and Boaster's quick to be dealt with. Chronicle up top to flank from Alphayer, completely unchecked.
Aduh,
But he's almost the only one to do damage. Another kill
dapat
coming through on the
satu
Yuppie.
lagi
But it's just not
masih.
enough. At least for not for most players to clutch it out. But Durka, well, he didn't buy a lot, and he invested a Blade Storm. He's going to have his best shot at this one. Still a dash, still an updraft to work with, and both Cloudbursts. The real problem is going to be dealing with these players, and you can see why right away he's taken out of the sky.
Yeah, I really like the late dart as well. Put outside the smoke just as it's about to fade, so when the smoke fades, he's screwed.
You gotta
like,
go.
he has to go somewhere. Great work from Mystic. He really has been having a fantastic game. It's one of the things that I feel like I've noticed over on this map for Liquid is that normally you'd have the disruption of Mystic setting up Kiko on the Yoru. I feel like Mystic has actually become the disruption. We've seen him TP into a lot of really risky angles, like try and take elevated positions, and it's playing more of like a quasi-smoke duelist. It's been really impressive for him on an individual level to keep what was the exciting thing about this composition.
Yeah, I think you have to give a lot of
Terus
props to
nggak
Yuppie
bisa
for
kalau
that as
mau.
well. His support utility has been perfect. Even in some of the earlier rounds, when he was on A site, the B site pushes came through. He was the one rotating in to lob those flashes over. Just didn't delay them that little bit longer to open up opportunities like Nats grabbing the 2 kills from Boathouse when he swung out. That was off of a Yuppie flash. I think his support's been good. 11-9, 2 rounds needed for Team Liquid to close out their map pick. One that was looking almost undoubtedly to be theirs. It was in their pocket, but stolen straight out of it. Now Fnatic, weaker by Boaster on the A site with a weaker weapon. His retake ability is not going to be great.
Take flight.
It's the B site that has ultimately got eyes on it. Lots of players spotted by that drone. Looks like the info's there for Fnatic.
Oh, nice.
Darkus just jumped right in behind Nats. That's already going to be the lurk gone. Now things definitely become tougher. 2 players still here.
Oh,
Leo
nice.
not missing a beat. And they've got to try and clear the man from the back lines. Yuppie has managed to do just that. Chronicle caught out. Basically goes facing on his lonesome. And speaking of on his lonesome,
30 seconds left.
the spike is alone, but they can start rotating back in the other direction. Mystic looking to try and hold the line, stop them from chasing this man down, trying his best to TP out of there, but it's actually going to be the judge at range that does the damage. And now, the ice-cold Finn, Yumpy, left to try and clutch this one out. A 1v3 scenario to try and put the 12 for Liquid.
He took a step forward towards Generator. They think he's further back on the site. The recon even revealed no further push. It's all down to timing. Flashes. Perfect! It's caught them! He'll equalize it down a bit better.
Nice.
Even in the 1v1. But the ace will not be found this time. Only 4 kills. You know, he gave it a good old shot. But not good enough. 10 rounds found for Fnatic. 1 away.
I don't know if the call was that he was low, but you see Leo jumping across with a classic in hand. I think Nat's also just had the fright of his life with Durka jumping in behind him. But again,
Leo sih itu.
best, but wasn't quite enough this time around. Another defusal, another plant.
Felt that?
He's trying to
felt
steal
that.
our jobs. 11 to 10. Ultimate online for Leo. The same can be said for the null command and the neural theft on that attack.
Scanning ahead.
Fact is though, financially,
Ooh.
Liquid are in a little bit of trouble here. They lose this round and they might be fighting up against 12 with just pistols.
Hunter's Fury is good. Damage is done. It's looking for more and not quite placed on the third one. But with Kiko down already, Big
Nice,
Danger Man already
nice.
eliminated. Fnatic rotating in to stack up the A site that little bit more. B site held down by the
Yeah,
Killjoy setup. And the mid control still going to be fought for by Dirk
On mid.
as his dash. But later on, if he needs it, the drone is heard making its way towards him. Is it going to reach? No, it actually doesn't reach all the way into Pizza.
Should calm
Oh,
the
nice.
there. Maybe not. Durka gets that one almost for free.
Bisa
Didn't seem
out
like Yumpy
anjir.
was there to
Nice
get anyone in that position
banget,
to
nice banget.
That's a huge mistake for the side of Liquid that he's been able to get out of.
Saving
no
nggak sih lo
problems
itu?
whatsoever.
Udah.
40 seconds left on the clock, and with everybody backing up, I wonder if Liquid have genuinely decided to
Saving
honestly,
sih.
I'm all for it. Like putting your economy in the bin, giving
Nggak ada
Fnatic
duit
11
itu
and trying to
2 orang.
fight for 12 with pistols, it's not worth the fight. And trying to go in for a 3 versus 5 with no information whatsoever, it would just be foolish. You'd be gambling purely on the individual brilliance of your team, which is there at times, but not worth it this time out. Fnatic's comeback, getting ever closer to being complete, and Liquid, it
10
looks like they
seconds
might be
left.
fumbling it again.
9-3 at the halftime. I think this is somewhere that, if I'm Team Liquid, making the right call, saving over these weapons. You don't have Kiko, you don't have Yumpy to burst through to a side, even if you did want to take the 3v5. Having these guys online late round is important. But now, you have to wonder, do you still compete for that main
rekornya
control here?
perfect.
You lost it off of a smoke
Dibales
and a
itu
recon.
Dirk tadi.
And then a player in a position who, and I mean, Dirk didn't do anything special. He sat there, he waited the drone didn't get to him, and he just counted to 30. He's there the whole round.
I almost wonder, was that the recon or was that just the first tag? Because that might have just been literally just a
you might be
tag.
right,
I mean, it's
actually.
such a small, like,
I think you might.
opener.
I think you are right.
And that's what I mean. It's just, it's one of those things where it's unfortunate, but yeah, the follow-up is what's a little bit more damning, a little bit more worrying. And you can see as well, the Fnatic players in this defensive half have been getting more and more confident as they go. Chronicle willing to peek that, Durka willing to fight that in the last round, willing to fight short, go for pre-fires. Like, you don't want these players getting into the zone
Dikasih kepo.
because their zone is championship winning.
Kepo force-nya sih itu tadi.
They're still going to have some vulnerabilities. 4 rifles in hand, but maybe
So,
not the
semua
ones you want.
force side,
He's
yeah.
going to be left down to a pistol. They're going to put the pressure onto Durka.
A man that does
Nice.
well under pressure.
Nice.
Already answers up for the first.
Nice,
The knife through.
Durka.
Catching
First
Durka.
kill
He's already
dapat.
out. A dash is being used. He's on the site, ready to take another fight. The jump peak, quite going to catch him. Wrapping around the Jennies. Heard those steps. Playing it so well. What a play!
Nice.
Durka's got 3. He's taken the round into his own
Nice.
hands. Mystic on
Gigi
11 health.
Bagger.
The last bastion for Team Liquid, and
Gigi
the same
Bagger.
call
Gigi
as last time.
Bagger.
Perhaps you want to go and
30
save, but there's no choice to be had. You have to fight for that
Gigi
weapon, and it's not a
Bagger,
fight that they
Gigi
will win.
Bagger.
Team Liquid down on 11 while Fnatic surpassed them. 12 rounds found. And
9-3 masih curse ternyata.
regulation. What an impressive comeback from that defensive side, and Team Liquid have got to feel
Surprise.
devastated.
Yeah. A ring around the
Yang
rosy,
di-
they all fall down. I've heard that one in nursery rhymes, but I didn't think I'd be seeing it in Valorant. Just completely outplayed, but also mistimed. The players in main were not ready. If they're out, he's dead. Like, there's no way he should be allowed to do that, where two players wrap around from shore and he could just walk around them like there's nothing there. It's confidence in his teammate, but at the same time, you just wonder where the communication was there. Like, okay, I don't have you covered. You've got to be aware of these positions. And there's been a few moments like that now for Liquid. They're slipping.
I think you can see it when we start out this series, Tom. We mentioned the confidence of Team Liquid.
Buangin Zoba.
Not in the way they're going forward, the setups that they have. It's about
Meskipun
the fights
Vines
that they
lagi
take. They were
busuk,
bloodthirsty
lebih busuk
in a lot
Zut
of these
yang masih
battles, and we've seen Team Liquid slow it down since then. Right here, two players seem to give Durka so much respect that they don't want to swing him. They don't want to go down. Instead, they'll wait for their players to wrap on Jenny so they can face back box together. But he's not there. And they can't clear the other positions because they're waiting. They're giving him that respect, that room to breathe. My goodness. For a team that started so slowly, we gave the warnings. Fnatic are a team that you can see them go down by any margin. Unless 13 is on the board, you do not give up. You do not take your foot off the gas, and this is exactly why. Now, they stand the possibility of finishing this map out in regulation, but falling into their pocket with Fnatic's map pick up next as well. A devastating start for Liquid, and they're denied any aggression on A to wrap around to B. They haven't caught these players off guard. Fnatic are still here, still waiting. And Kiko is dropped immediately. Alpha's not stopping either.
It's been a slow start for so many members of Fnatic. But when they need it most, everyone seems to arrive. 3 remaining. For Liquid to cling on a map, they look like they had their grasp on. They had a holdover for the majority of that first half, and Durka, he's going to try and maybe go for a wallbang. It's not even needed. Leo's just too quick. He's been fantastic throughout the entirety of the map. He kept them in it. And it would be fitting if he was there to close it. The fact is, Yumpy will face anyone, and it may not matter. He is going down. There are 5 Fnatic players waiting to finish this man off, and eventually it's Durka to do the job. And Andaluthia flawless, and a flawless defensive side from Fnatic.
A flawless comeback at that as well. Andaluthia.
GG map 2 ayo. Nah. Kita lihat berapa menit? 1 jam. Iya sih, gua ada yang lewat Xbox-nya Fnatic. cara lihat map itu gimana ya? Lagi kan bro. Oh iya di start. Xbox-nya udah dibuka nggak sih? Koi. Cuma kalah lawan tim Red. Nggak tahu sih, 50-50. Sedangkan Liquid Xbox-nya gimana? Liquid not bad sih, ini bakal mirror juga ini ya yang ini ya not bad juga sih sebenarnya. Sebenarnya menang ngebantai Ji. Nggak tahu 50-50 lagi. Ini ya. Kita lihat wawancara mendidik gimana.
Yeah, and they were able to do so because I think Fnatic chose the Yatta
Well,
because
they wanted to prove that they can play in 2024 with a lot of explosiveness. And while they failed to do so, they needed to clutch to survive and the pistol round to get back into it.
Yeah, they did indeed. You guys saw briefly there my fun fact of the day, which is before today, Leo only picked up the Odin 16 rounds in his entire career. His literal Odin pick rate is 0.2%, which is crazy when you look on the other side. It's Enzo's bread and butter, and they just kept running into him here.
Yeah, fire through fire. We need to beat them with their own weapons, so it's a good idea, it's good improvisation too. And now that Fnatic said, okay, we are back, just like they did actually in the regular season against, I think it was Giants, right? So they are going on Icebox, and two old teams from European style going on Ascent and the Icebox. Maybe they need to show some original team comps, maybe some Gecko to get back into it.
I mean, that was Enzo there in the AIM Labs warm-up, but I feel like, Ash, it doesn't get more original than that last Icebox comp we saw from Team Liquid. I feel like Sliggy's brainchild from back in the days. Do you want to see that again today? Because Reina, technically having a great win rate in the EMEA so far.
She is having a great win rate in the EMEA, but I think that that composition, what Nat said, it was made 2 hours before the matchup.
Yeah.
So the fact that they came in with that surprise factor in their last map, I think that was a strong opportunity for them. But at the same time, when you look at the fact that that's not something where you can replicate the kind of performance time and time again.
Yeah, I agree. It's very difficult to say, okay, we bait jungle.
Sebenarnya bosan lihat EMEA itu. Kalau nggak dua tim jadi males sih ya. Yeah, but
So let's see it. They are going back to it. It's confidence. It worked once, so let's do it again.
Yeah, they're
It's pure
going
ego.
to keep it. They're going to keep this.
Fair
one.
enough.
And, I mean, Fnatic, they should expect this at this point. What do you guys think?
I think
Fair
it's
enough, yeah.
an interesting pick. If Team Liquid, again, if they have that hot start in the first half that we saw on Ascent, I do think that it becomes doable for them here on
Anjir,
Xbox.
gua baru
Again, it
sadar
really
itu
depends on those vibes. I think that that's
kita
the big
tahun
difference between
2022.
these two teams is that on Fnatic, I feel like there are players, even looking towards Boaster, who is an IGL with so much leadership and charisma, being able to drive that emotional power. That was something that we leaned over towards Nats on last time around.
And question is, we saw the firepower and the clutches from Fnatic. Where are the clutches from the team of Liquid, Yampi, and Nats? They are usually clutching, and they need to right now because we have a chamber, we have a Reina for kicker, so they need to show some firepower, some magic from them right now.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I mean, that was the thing that kind of carried them through, right? They got them to this point already. A miracle playoffs run, we keep calling it. They have to win here though, because if they don't, their dream of going to Shanghai will be over. Mitch and Tom, there's a lot riding on this one.
Well, the stakes are most certainly high. Icebox, a map that Team Liquid pulled out a tricky comp to confuse Gentlemates, confound them, and more importantly, battle them in a way that they weren't quite ready for. Fnatic would be foolish to come in with the same notions in their head here, Tom. And after a lights-out comeback on the first map, this could well be where we ended.
Yeah, I'm very nervous for Liquid. I think running that composition once, it's brave. Running it a second time, your opponents are going to know exactly what to expect. And Fnatic, with this exact composition, one of the best teams in the world at controlling the pace of Icebox. So they're going to have to hit a level that we didn't see versus Gentlemates. Doing that versus Gentlemates is one thing, doing that versus Fnatic, completely different ballgame.
Doing it the first time is one thing as well.
Yes.
Doing it the second when a team's ready, when they bring in a comp that's good for controlling the map.
Keren dulu ya.
That can be a completely different story. Team Liquid need to come in with confidence, and it looks like they have barriers up and Yumpi's up too, but they're ready.
Big.
Fnatic sitting back in a default, waiting for aggression. They know that that's what you're gonna get with this composition.
Masih bisa di-heal sih itu Gecko balik minta heal.
Stand back and get ready for a big
Tapi-
strike when that happens.
tapi
Doesn't come down
Mystic
to a
jauh
kill to start
banget.
with, but it does delay that aggression from Liquid and leave them in their B plan. Might even be to fall back towards the site in a moment.
Yeah, with already
Kita heal itu
players
Gecko.
tanked up.
Jelas.
Alfia's been told they're going to try and battle and duel. And he
Kan
fought Sheriff.
dokumentatif.
I'm going to be honest. I believe in Alfia. We know what this man can do, and they are pushing right into him. He's on the angle, waiting, even going to be shooting at the
Oh,
turret, but he's only going to get
nah.
one. Kiko's able to trade, but more importantly, he's able to get his health right back up to maximum.
The wall used deep as well. It's going to narrow down these fights to just one laneway so the whole team can focus up. Nats has managed to slip past. Only good for the one despite damage on the Chronicle.
30 seconds
Yumpy doesn't
left.
have a way back in. I mean that quite literally. There's a wall blocking him.
planted.
So from this point, it is going to be a slow round as he either waits for that ice to melt.
In 7 seconds, he can try and TP back on top of it.
Oh, wow. That would be helpful here.
It would be an almost instant death, but it would be entertaining. The thing is, though, he's not even going to get past the first hurdle, which was Boaster, as Fnatic will take themselves the pistol round and get off to a start on their own map.
GG sih udah kalau ini bisa main cepet sini.
Wall doesn't actually break on Icebox, but on Breeze, you're out of here.
It just turns to water. It's just a puddle.
But it makes you slippy, so you can't stop and shoot.
Please never do this. This is why you're not allowed to.
Bisa jadi match
Am
seperti
I
ini.
wrong though? That's what the ice should have been. When you put ice on the ground, you can't stop in it, so you just keep sliding. But whatever, you know, game design, we'll discuss that later. I'll be in touch with the devs. 1-0 for Fnatic so far, and Team Liquid will not be coming in with a funky force buy for round 2. Instead, a little bit more of conventional play for us. We get classics across the board, barring Kiko, and I suppose barring you. He'll always have that headhunter in his back pocket.
Yeah, it's always going to be dangerous with a few bullets in hand, but you can see
Alpha dibeliin Boaster
so many
bentar.
times that 3 rifle 2 pistol allows for
Pantesan dia bisa beli full shield
gives
anjir.
them a pretty strong buy going into the next round. Definitely a bit of a backup plan. Also means that you can use some of those pistol players to farm up some orbs.
Benar sih ini. Ruby.
Act as fodder. For now, though, it is a complete stack up of the A site. Up until a moment ago, there wasn't even a single player in the vicinity of B. Realization has been there for Liquid, but will it be too little, too late?
I think in terms of the push, it most certainly
Dari Leo dia oper ke Boaster.
unless Fnatic gets slowed down a lot, but hard to imagine what Liquid could do
Dia
to slow
ngeplay
down this team. Even the Viper wall is already placed towards that A site. So they have nothing really to push these players back. The space taken, the plant come
30
through,
seconds left.
and the flank even abandoned in favor of grouping up and using those numbers to try to power your way through
Jangan
the setup and
nyali
play. But Fnatic have
Chronicle.
range, they have numbers, and they have rifles to work with.
Oke, nggak apa-apa.
Getting even a kill or two here
Tinggalin
would be impressive.
ah Mister
Well, they
dapat
have managed that
Chronicle.
at the start. That was only Chronicle who was up close. The rest of the squad are keeping a safe distance.
Yeah, the Fnatic post plants is where they made their
Nggak apa-apa
name.
lah. Pistol
So
doang dia.
much utility being dropped, but more
Nice.
importantly, players as they go, earning up those ultimate orbs per player. You see Enzo hoping that maybe someone gives him an angle, makes a mistake, but other than that, plan is to just go down to the spike, hold on to everything for the next round, and Fnatic will be perfectly fine with that. They get to keep their 3 rifles in hand, have a pretty decent economy going into the next round, and
Bisa full buy lagi nih.
no
Kalau
easy round for Liquid to take, no weak
3
weapons. This
orang.
will be 5 rifles.
3 orang rekon
Yeah, the
atau
early round
shieldnya
setup works perfectly for Fnatic.
nice
economically.
sekali.
Stacked up and ready to go while Team Liquid, and this is what we touched on at the start of the last map for Team Liquid. It's not the same story as Fnatic. Fnatic can go down 10 rounds, and I'll still believe in their possibility to bring it back, not least because of the squad. They're an easy one to believe in, but because of the history, because they've shown us many, many times that they can do that. For Team Liquid, if Fnatic do get the ball rolling, get confidence high, well, said this setup from Liquid relies on confidence. We're going to see that in this round right now, as Yumpy has already gotten up close.
It's very far forward, though.
Sudah
Far
mati
forward, in
satu.
fact, he would be in trouble, but it doesn't look like he has any plans of escaping. That's what his util really allows for, but there wasn't any plan there. He was just hoping to take those firefights and already picking off Boaster. Removing all of that Viper utility is huge, and Kiko has done exactly the same on the other side of the map. It's a little awkward, but he'll escape with his life.
Yeah, the Outlaw's got a shot off on him, though. Can't allow that to happen again, but it looks like the wall will give him a safe passage back. The idea was good. Firing that second shot through the wall, it could have worked out, but not this time. Sage heal, well, still vulnerable. to an outlaw, but now they've gone to the rifles. Fnatic.
They guessed
Make their way
correct.
through A.
Shock dart landed on his head. He's right back down to low HP again. Kiko has to try and do something a little bit audacious. It seems like Durka might do the opposite. Straight through the smoke. Enzo caught off guard. The spray's decent, but Kiko's still surviving. And now can actually heal himself up for a second time.
Flash coming through, but the
Aduh,
swing is as
nggak
well.
dapat.
Yeah, the confidence for Fnatic is certainly there, but it's left Leo
Ah, mati.
1v3, a
Mati
familiar
Leo.
situation. One that he's
Mati
won
Leo.
before,
Nggak
and
bisa.
now he's just a pixel away from spotting where Yumpy is. Trying to root out that final player,
10
another
seconds
tap.
left.
He's caught him, he knows he's up close,
No.
great read from Leo, 6 seconds, another tap. But this time, the read is there, he's gonna try to kill it. He has to find the elimination, there's no time anymore, and they will not root Nats
Aduh,
from his
mahal
position.
lagi.
Patience play from Nats that works out perfectly.
I think if it's anybody else in that scenario, maybe they swing, maybe they peek, maybe they take a risk, but
You just look.
Nats is the calmest person in the server. So that's the one thing that was kind of against Leo in that scenario. He's the only player that isn't going to take that risk. Even still, though, you have to bear in mind that that was Fnatic still saving some economy in the back. And the amount of damage that Leo alone was able to do has made that round so much more costly. It's going to put Mystic back
Swingnya
onto a
begitu,
judge.
Cok.
Yumpy, okay, with an outlaw, that's not too much of a detriment. And there you go.
Sorry?
There you go. Not too much of a detriment.
Yeah, pretty weak weapon. Can't really get anything done with that. But, well, as we can see, Yumpy most certainly can. 140 tags, so dangerous. 2 players here, Chronicle and Boaster, playing without those shields. Only light shields, without the heavy. And that's the only thing that can save you from the ire of Yumpy in this round. He's going to challenge
mati.
Alpha, full HP. Now
Oh, nice.
lower, but that wall was thick enough. to
Oh,
keep him
nice,
alive, and he
Alpha.
follows
Ah.
up with another. Sure, Nats
Oh,
gets him in
wow.
the end. The slow orb made it impossible for him to leave the snake bite, but that only equalizes numbers. And for Fnatic, that's perfect, because this map, they know there's players towards the B side, and the rotations have probably come in. So they'll spread the net out and look for where the gap currently resides. In fact, they'll spread out, walk back, and then set up for a B retake. They want to have Team Liquid either rotate passively through the spawn or get aggressive. It's a little bit of both with Mystic behind yellow. If he's not spotted, this could be dangerous. Just get
That
curious.
might actually start pulling players away from this side of the map. You can see
30
Kiko
seconds
starting to
left.
clear out the kitchen. Do they actually check towards yellow? That's the main thing. Timing is not good for Enzo. He's going to get dropped, but Mystic is still here. Tag low on HP. They don't know where Kiko is, but they do know where Mystic is, but he lands the shot anyway. A
Udah
huge
tahu
round from
ada
him.
hero
And
dan
Kiko's there to finish things off. Liquid
malah
back
buka
onto the
baik.
board and level with
Tolong,
Fnatic.
I don't mind Fnatic's
tolong.
idea to double back in that situation. I'm surprised.
Udah tahu satu ada di yellow, malah masih.
Jump scare on Enzo. Being able to get so close on the side without the info in the hands of Mystic. This was
Tolol banget, sumpah.
Didn't look like he really moved his crosshair, so I'm pretty sure
The
both connected
combo
with
as
the wall.
well of the slow and the snake bite was almost to force him into that position.
Nggak dicek,
If that
nggak
snake bite hits
di-clear.
him, then that one shot will be enough, but timing was a little bit off.
Here we go again. Alpha's kept himself a rifle in this round. Kiko, it's dangerous to go for the dart.
Nice.
He's just not missing. He was slow to start the last game, but he's been getting better as they go along. He's got the only weapon in this round, but sometimes in the past that's been enough.
Well, there's a reason the man's gun is glowing. Putting in a lot of work so far. This rifle's already picked off Enzo, grabbed the opening. Team Liquid have rotated into position. Wall going up now. Denying them for just a little while. Slows do somewhat of the same. When the push comes to shove for
Ada nekat-nekatnya itu.
weapons, that should leave them down in the dirt. Ult available for Kiko might want to be used on this low HP, but he'd still need to find someone to connect on afterwards. Well, he's done just that.
Sendirian.
He's picking up 2, and this is the disadvantage.
Sendirian,
of your weapons.
jatuh.
When you take those fights, you won't always be able to win them. That first shot doesn't connect. Nats is even going hunting. He's feeling confident with his ult online, and he's given away a kill, an opportunity to Chronicle. With still 35 seconds, a rifle now retrieved, and low HP on Kiko. I'm getting worried that that might have been an overheat. But Kiko's position proves to be superior, and the lead goes to Team Liquid.
Yeah, we've definitely seen moments already in the game where things could go wrong for Liquid, but they're able to convert the rounds at least. A decent one from Kiko in the end, and Nats facing off, but that was just the
Udah ada gila-gilanya, maju sendiri, Cok.
Try and make things costly. Fnatic though, it's been 3 rounds in a row to their opponent.
30 seconds.
And actually the ults are building up across the board. Like, we haven't really seen anything invested from either side just yet in this many rounds. With a Viper's Pit, lockdown on the other side, and as said, almost every single ult 1 or 2 away. I think this is going to be an interesting round.
Kontrolnya
Rushing
dipersempit
out
backnya.
Liquid this time. They'll be spotted as they make their way forward.
Here.
A-side defenders have a choice on their hands. Whether you still compete for this, it looks like they will just try to pick them off, use their slows and snake bites to slow down the actual plant and buy some room for the flank. But having been spotted by the turret, they abandoned that, move back towards the site. Here's the slow play. Nice connection on the first, hard to get out. The damage done to Alpha and Chronicle. The lockdown now with no Hunter's Fury to counter. Looks like they're fighting instead. Kiko's already grabbed one up close to double up on Natsus, and it doesn't look like he's stopping. Going forward to try to destroy this lockdown. He almost didn't do it, but just about gets out of there with another kill, a lockdown destroyed, and a man advantage for the side of Liquid. These players, though, are knocking on their door, looking to take this fight very quickly, and if they swing onto Leo, the chance for Boaster to catch something around the side is there. He's even found Kiko a beautiful one-way.
30 seconds left.
Viper's Pit available. It might
Kiko
be a
yang
good idea
lapor.
to put it in.
He's a little bit further behind. I think he's waiting for maybe a little bit of extra cover before that ultimate is used. Needs the spike to get over as well. And timing's going to be everything. Yumpy's just missed it. Looked away at the wrong moment. The dart's good. And they still haven't got the plant in. Leo hits the 2 HP. And this time Enzo does peak. It's the opposite to the last clutch for Leo. This time he wanted that spike down. And instead, the IGL is just ahead of it. Another close clutch round for the side of Liquid. But they're starting to run away with this again.
They are. Yeah, the lead now secured, doubling up the rounds of Fnatic, doing damage to the economy of the attacking side as well. And in this round, when there seemed to be a lot of threat, somehow, not only one peek out of Kiko and a few shots put into the lockdown, but he dismisses, goes around the other side, destroys the lockdown, gets a kill, and gets out. In moments like that, you can understand this composition, because whilst you might be limiting your utility and your abilities, the reality is giving someone like Kiko an agent that he can go into fights, and if he finds the kill, get out scot-free, it's paid off in even the last 6 rounds more times than I think any other agent would.
It's one of those agents as well, when it comes to a lockdown, you're actually in a good spot to fight. You get a kill, you can dismiss, and you're not going to get caught. Nonetheless, still some danger in this round. Couple of ultimates available, tour de force for Yumpy, but I'm more looking at that Viper's Pit and the amount of SMGs that are currently online. I wonder if Fnatic are going to try and attempt to use this. The problem is just how many personnel are here. Liquid have an eye on everybody, excluding Yumpy on this side of the map. In fact, Kiko he sprays down a couple, has support, and it's a nice shot or 2 out of Fnatic, but ultimately it's a complete shutdown of any plan they had.
At the very least, though, Tom, those 2 kills coming through, it's going to keep the economy somewhat managed for Liquid with reinvestments coming in, but this sort of play, the wall drops and you just go swinging. You expect normally there'll be a flash.
Malah nge-stuck 64 orang.
You're limited with utility. This is where confidence comes into play that little bit more.
The funny thing is, like, as someone who went through CS, watched the Fnatic team there,
Sure.
we always had a thing called the Pronax pause, the Fnatic pause. They would be in the worst possible scenario. They'd click that pause button, and it doesn't matter if they had the greatest speech of all time or they sat in dead silence, they always seem to turn it around. Weirdly, I think that's carried through to their Valorant team as well, because the amount of times we've been seeing Fnatic in a position where they should be done, they're getting bodied, and then a pause comes in, and I don't know if, again, Elmer Putty's telling them exactly what they need to hear, what he thinks, or telling them what he had for breakfast. But somehow, they always seem to turn the tide. And with the amount of ultimates they have online as well, that's probably a good time to do it. You're coming in with a Res, Blade Storm, Hunter's Fury, Viper's Pit. Sure, there's a couple on the other side as well, but a lot of them are counterable by what the side of Fnatic have. The fact is, though, this is their map choice. This is the attack side. This is where they've always looked solid versus Koi. 8-4 on the attack. I'll have to see if they've still got any bite left to their icebox.
Get out of my way.
This round with 4 ultimates, one already burned right off rip. is where I expect Fnatic to do some damage. The Blade Storm for Durka has been deadly in the past. Kiko got a good spot to play from. Pushed up in two, and it looks like he'll take the timing as they spam up the wall. I love this setup, but actually finding something from here is tough. With a Killjoy turret, watching your every move.
Mati, sing gue. Resurrection
And he's
mati.
able to keep control of yellow as well. He hasn't fallen back to the site. They're going to put some util in to try and disrupt him, but Dirk has found him. Fin on fin. And Dirk is going to go for a little bit more, but he's not found anything. Hunter's Fury also utilized. Don't know if the call's been there for Nats, but he's going to try and make a play off of it, and the rest of Fnatic are waiting. Kiko, though, that flank comes in quick. Puts things back into a 2v2, and bear in mind, Alpha...
Sumpah lah, ini Boaster. Cik gak gelem mobil ulti nih, taek si Boaster lain. Sumpah tai si Boaster lah, gelem mobil ulti. Ulti yang ngentot. Ini baru mau ulti taek, sumpah. Sumpah taek, terlalu kukur kayak tai anjing. Mainnya.
Not going to do anything for him. They've gone. As Enzo goes running through, and both haven't gone, Tom. Only one. Alpha still sat behind, and as the pit fades, it's a clean
Sumpah taek, Boaster.
3 rounds on the board now for Fnatic, and that pause did them well.
Yeah, it might not be the cleanest round of all time, especially with Kiko managing to get in on the flank. But the way they played that 2 versus 2 was brilliant from start to finish. The idea to bait with the spike, even put up the screen so there's an opportunity for the peek through it from Alpha, yeah, perfect. Catches Kiko. He looked, as you said, he had his knife out, wasn't ready for anything. And then also the bait with the Viper's Pit. Put it up. You leave Alpha behind low on HP. If he goes down, it's a 1v1 with a post plant. A good opportunity for Boaster. But instead, he ends up finding both kills while desperately low on HP.
Absolutely gorgeous. A well-deserved round for Fnatic, and one that has put Team Liquid in a bit of an uncomfortable spot. Yumpy is a classic as his main weapon. Or still, as we said, that Headhunter's always going to be there, but his options are that little bit more limited. Mystic, well, he won't be fighting.
Malah komplit.
He can get past it.
No, he can. He can go all the way around it. Alpha, if he takes a step back, could be in so much trouble. Kiko's just clearing so much ground. Every single member of the Liquid team, bar him, is now on the other side of the map. And Alpha is none the wiser that this has been given up completely. The problem, though, is if he doesn't move, there's nothing that Kiko can really do about it. And he doesn't want to abandon his post as the mid defender. So he may have to go back just in case. It's created a very peculiar round with Fnatic now walking into a stack. And a plant is integral to their plan.
I mean, the patience from Alpha to sit in this corner for the last minute has kept him alive, and he might even have massive impact in the late round. Turo was taken back. Kiko shouldn't be aware of this position, and Alpha gets the jump on him. Shut down at least, and Yumpy will retrieve a weapon. Okay, there's an opportunity.
Oh, what?
There was an opportunity. It just got snatched out of their hands. Crazy peek from Durka. They're ready for Yumpy. They know that this push can be coming up behind. They're watching it like hawks. Chronicle, good for the one. The second player, though, might not be expected. Doubling up has its value. And Mystic, he's creeping through, finding one, finding two, and now leaving it all on the Boaster. Spotted on the corner and taken down. Mystic on the flank. It was their third flank of the round, Tom, but eventually, you know, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again.
I honestly thought the original plan was for him for Yumpy to take that kill and then him just to res. I was like, okay, he'll just bring him back, they'll try and fight this together. Maybe he gets one kill, goes for the res. But it was just tunnel vision from Mystic. He knew what he needed to do, he knew he was going to get 4, and he hits every single shot. In the first map, he was fantastic, even though it slipped away. And while this round is going to be a huge difference maker for them around the, in all honesty, up until that point, looked like it was ropes. Instead now for Fnatic, it's obliterated their economy. Sure, they still have the res, but they've used everything else up over the last couple of rounds. And while Liquid still have a plethora of ults.
It's always beautiful watching Mystic work his magic. Used to seeing it on the controller, but no different on the Sage this time. That res still in the back pocket, as well as a Viper's Pit. One step closer to a Hunter's Fury. Opening pick goes to Enzo, catching Alpha, getting aggressive up on Belt. have sent out a little bit more to this play than just a control on the side of Fnatic.
Mati
Look
gua.
how close Durka is already. Damage done. He's lit down to 45, and Yumpy even gets out information in their pocket too.
Yeah, Yumpy knows that if you're shooting for more than a second, that can be enough to lose your head. The fact is, though, the chamber's allowing him to play a lot of really obscure angles. They're not angles that, as Durka, you're going to pre-fire. You're not going to pre-angle any of these positions, and that's why Yumpy's doing it. Just to create awkward fights that give him a leg up in almost every single position. 40 seconds left. Red's available, but won't be used, at least at this stage, for Fnatic. It's only going to be if they can get themselves into the late round. They've got to be careful of the flank. This time, though, Yumpy had no exit plan. It's more so a chance to set up Nats, and he's done so much damage already.
Even picking up Chronicle through the wall, double flank underway. They're not ready for either. It was Alpha who was picked off first in this round, so that turret not online. It's a clear message being sent to Kiko and Mystic. But with Nats down and Enzo too, it's only the flankers that remain. Weaker weapons, sure, and Boaster falls quickly, but Leo still to be dealt with 7 HP. Not quite enough to tank that first shot. Liquid will find the defuse, but 7 rounds on the board. Tom, all in all, it's another decent first half under their belt, but that didn't mean too much when it came to Ascent.
No, this is reminding me again of when we saw Fnatic play up against Foot. You knew what was coming. It was a comp we didn't expect to work more than once. The team have run it again, and Fnatic don't look like they have adaptations. Like they have ideas to actually stop what Liquid are doing, because the fact is it is very much the same. Like they are looking fantastic on an individual front. We've seen Kiko just run pretty much through A almost every single round, all through mid. Like he's just taken that space for free. And normally what I give credit to Fnatic for is these defaults, holding, delaying. They were doing it in the first couple of rounds. Since then, they've been trying to go for these more direct B takes, and they've been wrecked because of it.
In fact, here's the adaptation from Fnatic, right? Early presence on B, some control fought for, and they look for that aggression on A. You have 3 or 2 players still sat around, up on belts, trying to catch an aggressive angle. Now they're worried about him even being up in nest. But it's a switch of pace. Instead, it's the B side that the push is coming.
This is the thing, like we've seen this from Yumpy. Now it's Kiko. He's taken deep B control. So again, you have one player that can just watch towards mid. In fact, Mystic still has a wall, which he's now going to use. So that's delayed if they were going to push in that direction and gives information. And so now they have themselves every player bar that one on this side of the map. Enzo up above, not going to be expected. An easy pick, even with the res, with the trades coming back. Fnatic are making these fights close at least.
Ambitious to make that play. Oh my god, Kiko.
Expect Z. Expect Z.
Absolute perfect.
Expect
They're gonna
Z.
be banging their heads against the wall. If they end up back turn to this man again. Oh, but he whiffs. None of the shots connect this time. Finally, Fnatic are able to deal with that flank, although you can't help but think kind of fell out of their hands whether they did or not. Enzo's here, Odin in play, 16 seconds. They just need to stop the spike from being planted, but that's a pretty big ask. Wall goes in, so too will the spam in return. Oh, just about breaking it open, but Chronicle manages to get away with it. 30 HP is enough. With Nats down, this round is looking done and dusted. The credits in the bin a little bit. You might consider the save if he can get out of here. And it's not just about crossing back to the spawn. There's also a gap that's being watched down below, and Alpha delivers the final blow, 7-4. Oh, what was that? Okay, Alpha's ready to go. 1 round left to fight for, and it could be a 7-5 half. That's not bad for Fnatic, getting their attack side out of the way early.
Well, yeah, that was saved by Boaster in more ways than one. Like getting the opener on the site, but more so, I don't know what it was, just a sixth sense to turn back around, but otherwise that round completely goes astray. It's the second time we've seen that as well. Do you remember, I think it was Tomazi, the exact same, he had that really deep position. We're building it up like it's going to be the greatest play ever, and yeah, just caught. It's painful. And for Liquid again, like, we've seen them choke from a 9-3, slip-ups like that, mistakes that look like it could all go in their favor. Tour de force for Yumpy though. He's been devastating with this gun.
Going up. There's a small gap there to get back out if he can reach it, but there's a player on top. Good connection, no way out. Just the one to be found. B site that little more open, and the Hunter's Fury finding not a whole lot. Healing back up any players tagged, and the spike now sets its side on the sites. This is where it can be dangerous. Viper's Pit's about to be online with this plant. That's why you see Boaster going for it. And a Viper's Pit with this advantage is going to be near impossible to get back through.
Dalam
They're gonna
fight
try and get it
speed.
quickly. Mystic's been good, but he can't do anything versus that Viper utility. An
Main
attempt to
dalam,
wrap
main
around.
dalam.
Kiko has a way in and a way out. That's the only real benefit he can find in this scenario, but he's all left alone, and Alfred's there to close it out. Solid half for Liquid, but in the end, Fnatic have that decent resurgence we've seen from them so many times. And that setup for me is actually a little bit more interesting, because in most cases, a Hunter's Fury combined with disruptive play, I think is good. But for Yumpy, it kind of revealed him. Like, I understand the idea, but it's like, he has a surprise factor with an ability to TP. Instead, you make it so they're going to have to move. And unfortunately, I guess it hits the one player that's going to go up.
Ngajar.
For Team Liquid, they almost had map 1. They would have had another chance on Lotus, but they've got to take that chance and make it their own now.
I think as well you have to put the context of the orgs. Liquid, Fnatic, expectations are always high. Not making it to 2 events will be huge, and Alpha's already kicked it off with a bang. Kiko, one of the heroes of the first half, is already gone. From a util perspective, it won't be the end of the world. They can play in those post plants, but
Jangan kasih mereka cosplay nyaman lah, fight side. Dari tadi kasih terus side-nya retake. Kalau lu dapet enak, kalau nggak ungkatan.
Aggressive positions for Liquid. Problem is, Yumpy can TP out, and you'll have Mystic very much isolated. He has to be the one to find a lot of damage. Yumpy, no TP. Instead, he's taken out by the shock dart. Set to another dimension. Shots landing for Nads, but it might not be enough. There's just too many players left on the other side. Fnatic win out the pistol and push up to 6 rounds. The gap now 1. And for Team Liquid, we can't see Fnatic get off to a flying start on this map, because there will be next to no room for them to come back in if that happens.
good start from Alpha, but again, it's some of the counter utility. There wasn't a lot really to play with, and that's again one of the sort of deficits of this composition for Liquid is you lose a lot of that post-plant util not having that killjoy available to you, but you also lose some of that initial space taken that you get from the jet as well. And now you best believe, although Durka might be at the bottom of the board, going into that defensive half, having the sniper in hand, he's only going to get more terrifying. And it's the opposite to what we saw last time. Before we saw the whole team invest in him save, now he's the only one investing and everybody else is saving. Probably not the start they were looking for either. Maybe a gap could be isolated, but well, immediately Durka homes back in.
Well, the shot has landed long range to Chronicle. What's most concerning is, in fact, that Nats has to land almost every shot. Sure, one hit up against every one of these Fnatic players, but just look at the setup. Durka sitting back with an outlaw of his own, waiting for the wrap around the side, utility on its way. Shock dart's good to slow. Okay, the wall is up. They'll manage to cross with it, maybe even get a plant, but the numbers are being taken out of their hands. With every passing second, Leo, aggressive position. Worked out beautifully. 2 bullets left. He's going for the reload. Decent timing for Mystic, but no weapon retrieved. I don't think he's going to take this fight with a classic. Just biding his time up top. And here comes the swing. Oh, it's even. It's Leo. What?
I was about to say, a little bit to the left, and he's going to get that kill, and eventually it's all revealed. 7-7. Scoreline equalized. Again, a lead of 7-3, which has been a 4-round streak for Fnatic. They've started their comeback a little bit earlier this time out. Of course, they're still going to have some pretty dangerous weaponry in this round. And for the other side, you have to bear in mind that there has been a loss because of what Nat's invested. So he's going to only be playing with a pistol now. Of course, the first one, you're going to see him lurking, you're going to see him in the back lines trying to take space. That's not a huge issue. But it's not a round where you want to be going into a deficit, especially when there's 2 outlaws.
Alpha, I thought he'd be in danger, but somehow he's able to take the first kill. A clean shot onto Yumpy. Wasn't the best weapon for the fight. Oh, Kiko, you've got to be careful. He thought they'd be a little further back, but Fnatic's aggression, how quickly they fill in these positions, catches them off guard. Team Liquid, 2 versus 4. This has been a devastating start to the round with a plant not even secured at this point and difficult to secure with Durka hot on their tails. They have to find some kills. Mystic does well to find the first, but even then, with him being low and the self-heal not bringing him back to 100, you have to hope Nats is able to get massive value from this position.
Definitely not going to be easy. This is the man you're looking at, but again, Outlaw waiting on the angle. Boaster's already going to connect. Mystic's been good, but as you said, those heals aren't what they used to be. He's going to leave him desperately low. 30 seconds left, and the call may even have to be just to try and hold onto the gun. Bring something through into the next round, have an opportunity to do some damage. He's had a hero play or two throughout this map and plenty throughout the series.
Yeah, it
looks like bleak is about to get a little bit bleaker. Bear in mind, this was a bonus round. A couple of Outlaws, Guardian. It wasn't the prettiest of buys for Fnatic. It was still decent, but they had won this round by, what, the first 20 seconds?
Yep. Oh, it was a very quick decision. Very easy one for us watching on. After that first scrap goes down. It's not even the first one, right? Because Yumpy being traded out, this isn't too bad. You drop Alpha, you open up a lot of control, but it's the kills that come in after that. This control dropped by Kiko as he gets that little bit too aggressive.
Kasih cake lagi.
It was worth looking at coming into this. We started out the year, at least we started out the stage, talking about Fnatic and how this core 5 had never been on a 3-loss streak. Whenever you had the full team. They've done it with substitutes, sure, but 2's the most that they ever lose. On a 2-loss streak again. Seems like once they hit that...
I want you win 2 championships last year.
I mean, Fnatic were in a position where even going into the last game of their season, Liquid could have eliminated them. It was possible, depending on rounds, depending on scores, and that's what it came down to. Not a team that would be comfortable qualifying to playoffs off of a round difference. They managed it, just about. And now, when it comes down to a head-to-head, it seems like they have a pretty definitive idea of who the better squad is. One map under their belt, their choice here on Icebox, and now they get the defensive side. Remember, Liquid decided to start on the defense. That could be their better half behind them already. And with Mystic,
ada gila-gilanya
things
Mystic
are
kalau
going to get any
begitu
better this time
aja.
around. They have got weaker weapons. That was a rifle that will now be retrieved. An opportunity for Kiko to find the value now.
He definitely has been the player to watch thus far in this map. But they're going to need a whole lot more from him. Fnatic on these retakes so far have looked sublime. The early rounds have looked fantastic, and already just starting to use some of the utility to clear him. He's still close, but already being revealed, being surrounded. And the rest of the team just that little bit further away. They don't have the util to really deny anything, and while it doesn't get much better than that for Fnatic, this is a round that will end with a flawless. They're 9th onto the board, and straight after a pause as well. You'd have hoped for at least a little bit more from Liquid, but this is the round where they actually have a bye.
Well, that's it, right? Those pauses, you can discuss the plan for that round. A lot of the time, information finding, limit testing. But this is the round where everything comes to a head. With rifles in play, with your economy on the line, and with a potential big lead for
kalau ini Liquid masih kalah gigi juga. Ini Liquid masih kalah gigi. Ini Liquid kalah gigi juga.
This could be where Fnatic take it. but they find that final stretch to the finish line. 2-round gap doesn't seem like a lot, but in the context of how things went and how they will go with this round loss, that lead's going to be extended very quickly. Defensive Fnatic play all over mid. A lot of presence here, and very passive on A, which is Killjoy utility spotting for the aggression. Alarm bot, a key piece of utility to watch the back.
That's the big thing. They've already got themselves Hunter's Fury to try and deny the plant, and they've also got themselves the lockdown available to retake it. They are set up for this already. You can see
Already
players outside of the site. They are just waiting. Could even put in a slow to try and make things more awkward. This is a set play from Fnatic to try and make things as awkward as possible for the side of Liquid. Hunter's Fury is only going to delay them. Nothing more to be had, no damage dealt, which for Liquid won't be too bad. And Yumpy going to go walkabout, is going to try and get ahead of some of that utility, but will be forced back.
Yeah, but Kiko isn't. He stuck around a second longer, but they know that lockdown's likely to come through. Kiko not backing off, though, as we said before. He's going to look for a kill, the dismiss, or perhaps even the destruction of that ulti. It doesn't come through. Nats on his lineup, fires through a snake bite, waits for the pulse, and now here comes the second. Looking to delay that diffuse, but Alpha's taking space, being proactive. Only the one to be found. Shock dart in, finds nothing. Yumpy now goes through for his turn and misses the shot. The numbers staying in favor of Fnatic, with Nats the last man standing, and all three taken down by Durka. Plenty of time left for that diffuse, and double digits locked in for Fnatic. It doesn't even come that close when you consider how Durka one-man armies the last play.
Well, that's the thing with this composition. You need to be aggressive, you need to be in their face on that attack side, and Fnatic basically had the ultimates in this round to go, no, we're going to make sure you delay the plants, we have everybody rotated in, ready to go for a retake, use that lockdown to force you back, and once you're forced back, you don't have the post-plant utility to delay us long enough. That's the thing. They had to use the snake bites immediately, otherwise somebody could have got onto the diffuse just like the round before. And then it comes down to, a shock dart or two. It's just not going to be enough.
Now we spoke about Liquid and how they managed to best their, at least for the core three, their rivals from last year, the tier 2 champions, Gentlemates, even on this map, absolutely demolished them. Same composition. But now the tier 1 champions, they proved to be a different beast altogether. 3 rounds in the lead. Team Liquid are able to buy themselves at least a couple rifles, and it could work out if they manage to get the Viper's pit in play. Nice shot by Yumpy, great shot by Kiko, and the B side is being taken. The late play by Nats even, it looks like he just managed to slip through. They think he backed off. At least the body language tells you that. But Nats thread the needle somehow. I mean, they're looking at Enzo. Maybe they think that's the guy they saw moments ago. The plant is coming in. So much is happening. It's distracting the players, and that's when Nats gets a free kill onto Chronicle. With back turned, this delays Leo's rotation back to the site. I mean, at least I thought it would. And he's dropping Nats. Now a 2v4.
Opennya di recover lagi nggak sih?
Enzo and Kiko.
Yeah, you can already see the wrap back around them. Mystic's going to try and basically reclaim the ground that was lost when Nats fell. There would need to be some pretty crazy shots connected. Not bad from Alpha, though. He's at least going to get himself one. But for Leo, there's not really anything to be had. It looks like Mystic's trying to hunt him down on the other side of the map. And in the meantime, Leo has other ideas. His goal is to try and make this round as costly as possible. Nobody realizing that he's still around this corner, but it's only going to be the one. A couple of players dropped in the end, but Liquid have finally found some form, found a round that came off the individual ability of Kiko and Yumpy with some pretty high impact openers. And luckily for them, the ult economy is firmly stacked within their favor.
That's their way back through. Their foot in the door. They won't be closed on them. A 2-round gap, 4 ultis, like you said, big advantage for Team Liquid to play with. Here, I think Nats did a fantastic job of sneaking up through middle. One of the main things you're going to look at in some of the compositions we've seen earlier on in the tournament was mid-control without a Killjoy. So difficult, because that alarm bot is so pivotal. Even with the alarm bot, he managed to sneak past it, which I have to say is close to a first for me. Durka is getting aggressive, but there's no one there to await him. At least there wasn't. Mystic is just around that corner on the boxes.
That's the thing. I think it was actually a shot connected from the site that forced them back. Yeah, Yumpy's going to try and make a play through mid. You'd think that with the alarm bot not down there, they can have a stronger hold of this side. You can look at the passive position that Leo is currently holding to try and watch this from afar, but it would just be a slight step backwards that could cost Chronicle his life, but I can only assume he's not going to move off this angle at all.
He had been revealed. Eventually Chronicle had to, but the shot's not hit. Yumpy even tagged up 56, Kiko on 25. Durka's advanced position.
Oh,
Now
nice.
there's someone there for him. Quick kill onto Enzo, and he is out of here. Getting out of dodge for free. Viper's Pit aggressive. Enzo on the res. The Viper's Pit abandoned.
Yeah, I think it was almost sold as a ruse. Just try and hold some ground for a
30 seconds
second. Angle held, but it's still won by Yumpy. That's a huge kill. It leaves Chronicle there. I don't know if he's going to try and use the res. It would definitely be a risk, and they've left Nats behind in middle. Snake in the grass, the rat in the backlines. Nice shot for one, but there he is. Pounces at the final second to give them that afterplant. You can see Enzo's trying to make sure nobody can get in to deny it. A three-man flank would definitely be a surprise, though.
I mean, Boaster already walked into the trap. They know one is behind, but that's the extent of your information. But look at the position of Nats. He's cleared it out. He's calling to the troops. There's no one in the spawn. They have to be somewhere else. And
Well,
Alpha, he might get the element of surprise, but he was spotted. Kiko dropped. 1 versus 2. There's no way he's going to give this one up. Not a 10-8. The angle held by Yumpy, though, is too strong. A pixel that reveals Alpha and gives Team Liquid another lease of life. 1 round behind Fnatic. It's not over yet, but that's only 2 in a row, Tom. A lot more to be connected by this attacking side.
Yeah, huge back and forth, and again, I feel like it's the impact of Yumpy and Nats. Taking that initial control, getting Nats into a position that he could play from, even using a Viper's Pit almost as bait so that he can hold on to some of that ground. And then just, it comes down almost to one fight. That fight, Durka and Yumpy. If Durka survives, I think they almost run out of time trying to clear him out of the site. But Yumpy hasn't been missing those shots.
A long time since I've seen the fragmentation on the slow orb. There it is again. Throwback to the days of Alpha. For Chronicle, it's going to be joining up with some of his teammates who've gone for a bit of a mosey around middle. Fnatic with a lot of control there, spotting nobody. It's the real downside.
They're pinging the B side because they've heard so much on the other side.
Utility
They've already
stabs.
heard like the dart go through. They've also used the drone. This is a pretty
On the wall.
over-the-top fake. It leaves Durka completely alone on the A side of the map, up above, watching. It's something that almost has to be checked for, but they've already bypassed the initial angle. Mystic is not going to go for the peak, almost just baits in his opponent for Nats to take that fight. Now Fnatic are nowhere near the action.
But they have managed to isolate a player. Enzo's caught in the cross back. Alpha's position is not good enough. Beautiful shot onto the head of Alpha Yer, but Mystic tagged up. They try to push forward to capitalize, but Yumpy's there, waiting, taking the kill, dropping one, and Kiko's flank comes through at just the right moment. 4v1 on the back of it. 66 HP for Durka. He can be a demon, but not up against Liquid. The successful streak of Fnatic comes to a halt as Liquid now equalize things with 3 rounds in a row. The game really isn't over yet. And the problem for Fnatic is they've invested a lot of credits into these last few rounds. Now, their balance is running a little bit dry.
Ults as well. Res used, Hunter's Fury used as well. So these have been costly rounds in more ways than one. And a lot of this has just come down to some fantastic rounds out of the side of Liquid. That one in particular, to sort of fake them out completely with a ruse, be prepared as well for there still to be a player up top. That's been an angle that's been causing them some issues on their way into the sites. They're ready for it. Nats connecting that opener, but yeah, on the other side, just completely faking them out, but then leaving Kiko behind. That was the biggest thing. He's able to completely disrupt any opportunity for those remaining players to retake with a perfectly timed flank at the end. Liquid may have just come online at the exact moment it was needed. But again, Mitch, there's a pause, and it's got Fnatic's name on it.
Yeah, 3 rounds in a row for Liquid, pause for Fnatic. We've seen this before. We know how these stories tend to go. Round number 21. I'm even looking at that hood down the bottom, Tom. Blade Storm online for Durka. Rifles bought up by 2 players, and I think Boaster's set to follow suit. Viper's Pit just 1 away. They did burn up a lot of ultimates, but they might just have exactly what they need on this defensive side for Fnatic to make it work. It's still going to be a difficult round for Liquid. No reward found off rip They might have damaged the economy, but it's still healthy enough to give them a fighting chance on the side of Fnatic.
Matchnya lama banget dan ini intinya.
He's someone who can be a hero in a lot of these rounds. The drone already pushed Durka back off the angle. Hasn't stopped them with the push-up. There's going to be a lot of information either way. Potentially just going to leave Alpha behind and try and stack up the defense to help out a little bit. What is that? Durka just through the edge, just managed to find himself 2 kills immediately.
I mean, I'm going to need to see that in a replay. That was quick as can be. And he's still roaming around, knives in hand. He might be 1 down, but 4 still to go, looking for the refresh. First shot doesn't land. Cloudburst deep allows the swing up close. Damage done. And here comes the stinger. What a bite it will have up against 50 HP. Mystic tries to create some space.
Nice banget itu tadi
Be in trouble. If this wall does get broken open, that's another angle for him to consider. Considers it well and even lands the headhunter. 1 versus 2. Spike to be planted. He needs to choose his position carefully. Look at Alpha here. The flank is coming in and he has no idea. Spike planted, round ended. Fnatic had him covered. All the boxes ticked. 11 rounds now on the board and Durka smiling. We've yet to see just what that looked like from his perspective, but I don't expect it to be reasonable. Look at this. Oh, stop it! Stop it the second one, he was already back through the wall!
Well, we talk about Fnatic pauses. As said, I'm not sure the coach said anything about that.
Oh, yeah, no. I saw Alma and Mini. Yeah. But peek up close. They'll push you off the angle. Go back. Wait till they push. Once alarm bot goes, swing in, headshot 2. I mean, it's a simple strategy, a common one. Everyone should run it, Tom. Maybe they might need these players, though.
Yeah, I can think of 1 or 2 that might also fit the bill, but Durka and Icebox has always been a pleasure. And now he's going to buy himself up that operator as well. Still, Liquid with 3 rounds, relatively clean ones. They're still going to be able to get a purchase onto the board. Have themselves an operator, and it is an early fight towards the A site. Orb tapped. Just going to have to fall back off the angle. Ultimate's firmly in Lockdown for Alpha. Viper's Pit for Boaster. You can lock down one side and put the lockdown on the other.
Oh, I think it's good to see Alpha's gun still glowing as well. Lights out map from him. Still involved in this engagement with the lockdown, as you said. And Team Liquid will step their way forward. It'll take a moment before they're able to actually bait this ulti out. And with the wall going down, that's where I expect Alpha to start making his way in, but they'll delay it. He wants the support of the whole squad. It's a wise play. The aggression has been there from Liquid again and again. Kiko, he's not going to stick around after that reveal. Surely gone running, hoping to open up space for Nats to make it through on the lurk. Has to be careful, because all the while Alpha's turret is watching for that aggression. Now Alpha's turret down. This opens up the door for Nats to quicken his pace, to make it through this window, to catch an angle. He's doing damage, dropping Durka, and the push from Mystic at the exact same time. It's gorgeous. And, well, Kiko might not be in the best of positions.
There's 2 detained players. Boaster hasn't seen any of them.
I mean, look, he's probably not winning the round.
There we go.
Even if he dropped both, I think he would have just stuck around to get deleted. And even that first kill ends up being enough to allow Team Liquid to close in on him, catch up, get hot on his heels. We're at 11 to 11, Tom. This is it.
This is exactly what I wanted to see from them with this composition. Like I had said many a times, Mystic hasn't been on the agents that necessarily allow for disruption. The guy's just a maniac. Like sometimes he just does things that are utterly insane. The angle, it's just disgusting. And then just the aggressive swing from Mystic was absolutely everything. But this is what I want to see from Liquid. Rounds where they're all on the same page. What is the plan? We're pushing this. We're taking these fights. Yumpy initially, Kiko after, Nats from behind, Mystic up front. It couldn't have gone any better if they tried. And now Fnatic are on the back foot again. Weaponry, definitely not ideal for this sort of round. But as we've seen so many times before, sometimes that doesn't matter.
This would be a hell of a round for that Viper's Pit to come out from Boaster. They need their way back through, but it doesn't look like a retake is on the cards. 4 players on the A side, ready and waiting to go. Flash up and over. Kiko's caught one, good angle. Remember, most of these players have weaker weapons. That was only a pistol he dropped, I believe. There's a rifle on the floor. 2 more Bulldogs and a Frenzy. The Frenzy up close, catching Yumpy completely unaware. Even still, how much more can you expect from Boaster? Nothing, realistically. Even needs to reload that Frenzy, dropped on from behind, actually isolates another kill. You got to applaud him for being the only person to do damage despite having the weakest weapon. But nonetheless, regulation win no longer possible for Fnatic. Elimination now a thought they can push to the back of their mind for Team Liquid. 1 more round, and they'll bring us to a 3rd, bring us all the way to Lotus to fight for tournament life against Fnatic.
This is the parallel from the last one. One team hits 11, and then the other team just doesn't want to let it go. Both teams knowing what's on the line here today.
Chronicle tak nyala.
Both these orcs failing to make it would be a travesty. 2 big fan bases, 2 big orgs, a lot of money invested into their teams, there's no doubt about it. These teams have put so much into Valorant and more. We've been there since the early days, since before.
Tapi nggak bisa titik juga, 2 itu gila. Chronicle 3 titel.
Only one of them today can continue in the playoffs, looks to try and challenge, make it to the stage where you at least have a lifeline. There are no lifelines in the first day of playoffs. And well, it's going to be Liquid taking themselves a pause, a chance for Emil to earn his money, a chance for Enzo to come up with a plan. But it also gives the opportunity to the other side. And Fnatic after pauses, well, round 21 is the only round they've actually won since, and that was straight after a pause. That was one of their opportunities. Let's see if they can do it in round number 24 as well.
This is it. Those barriers are going up 1 more time in regulation. Fnatic have a big test on their hands. They lock in an overtime, or they're locking in a much longer day. Viper's Pit activated, not to be left on the sidebar. Used on A. There's not a lot of presence from Liquid there. Yumpy up close. He's got 1 hit shot onto every one of these Fnatic players. Everyone has light shields, but 1 shot back is all that was needed. Chronicle with the headshot, delivering death to the Outlaw. And Team Liquid now lose one of their main ways to open up these sites, to take those aggressive fights. They won't be happy with that.
They're going to fight to bring him back.
That's why the res is coming in.
It's just how Fia's position definitely makes me nervous. Up from above, that has not gone great. That is a freebie kill, and more importantly, Mystic's gone down at the same time. It was a risk taken to get Yumpy back in, and it is a risk they may pay for.
The wall was too shallow. Someone has to recover this now. No res is online. Nobody brought back from the dead. Instead, they've eliminated some Fnatic players. That's is beautiful. Able to slip under the site, but there's still 1 player, and he doesn't know about Durka. Doesn't know where he's gone. Ring a Rosie once again, but this time it's Durka that gets ahead of it. Catching that, shutting down the option to plant. Now you rely on Kiko. Catching them off guard. Catches Leo. Can't make it out past the turret. Time delayed, 14 seconds. Time for a plant. Enzo sneaks through at just the right moment. And a plant can now be secured. They've got the site control. And with Kiko still looking for more damage, it was looking doable. Enzo even has a Hunter's Fury, but the chances to use it are going to be limited. Both players spotted. The information there to play with at least. The lock-in of map 3, he just has to find Boaster and Alpha. Yeah, but the first shuts him down. The IGL of Fnatic keeps this map going that little bit longer. 12-12, and overtime is on our hands.
It's an unfortunate truth for Liquid that it seems like their own attempt to bring back Yumpy from the fray is actually was their undoing. That was the problem. They still fought back in the 2 versus 4 scenario, but it wasn't quite enough. And now heading into overtime, everything's even, everything's square. The problem though is they don't have that economic advantage anymore. We were talking about them bringing in the operator. Last round they brought in the Outlaw just because of those low shields, the good read on the finances of Fnatic. And as we say again, a pause is called and a pause 1 or round 1 straight after for Fnatic. They are very good from those scenarios.
Yumpy nyala.
And Liquid turn it back again.
Yumpy nuts Mystic sama.
Up on Yumpy, off rip. It's had its moments, although Fnatic have done well to shut down this position, this play, and very same weapon in the past. Nats is the one up close, giving away his position, destroying the drone and hoping that Yumpy can catch them off guard as a result. Doesn't look like that's happening. No, Fnatic, they're aware of this play. They've ran into it a couple times.
I'm more to looking at this. Just look how far back Alpha currently is. It's because of what's been done to them so many times. Kiko is in their head, and he is not yet pushing. He is still all the way back, but the rest of the team are looking to build up in that direction. Alpha's only goal is to deny these flaps. Fnatic have been so successful at getting openers, getting into after plants, and they're even waiting for Yumpy, it seems, and he's not going to manage to hit the shot this time. Forced back further passive.
Trapped behind yellow as well. The wall up. You might actually see Nats completely locked out if Boaster puts that through. Managed to root him out of this position, or even spot him, I believe. Element of surprise certainly there. The shoulder not fired on by Yumpy. He's patient, and he gets his reward. Now wrapped on, sprayed at, and Enzo returning fire. Picks up one. The flank eventually comes in, and Alpha's able to drop two. But Yumpy is still in position. They can't afford to give any more players to that operator. The rotation is called, and Fnatic make their way towards the A site. But look at Team Liquid. They're miles ahead of them, already wrapping into this position. The only question is if the flank from Alpha can find the value that we can see. It's just about to. What a shot on the nets! Great correction, but Enzo can drop this spike on the way through. He has to take the kill. No way that they managed to blend this all the way, and there it is. A shock dart to grab the triple kill and close out the round. 13-12. What a chaotic close to this one.
Yeah, the fact is Alpha did his job and some. He catches the players flanking, but Fnatic just didn't get into the site. The Turkish superstar did everything they could have needed of him, but it's Yumpy. I don't know how he survives this long. And then right in the last seconds of the round, you have Enzo just making that realization. If I can even slow them just a little bit, if I can deny that extra space, the round is over. And that's exactly what he does. Closing it in fashion with a shock dart as well. A little bit of style points. Liquid though, I'll be honest, I don't think they should be taking a pause.
You know what, I can completely understand them taking that pause.
I understand it, but after what we've seen, results-wise, maybe not.
Every time there's a pause, Fnatic are right back on that horse, but my goodness.
Hey, I like it.
You need to take a breath after a round like that. I need to take a breath. Appreciate the pause, Emil. Good call. But for Fnatic, it's a chance to reset into this, to get themselves lined up, to push it to another overtime, to bring us to a close here on Icebox. Lotus, not a weak map for either team. One they'll both be happy to play it on if we end up going all the way, but Fnatic are on the cusp of it here. They don't let go of these maps, not without a serious fight.
Whatever happens here, it's going to be mental toll. Fnatic have to go to a third. As I said, they've already lost Lotus more times this year than they did the entirety of last year. And no, that's not because the map wasn't in the pool. Again, they're going to attempt some aggression. A lurk from Nats is something they'll have to be wary of always.
Astaga.
Obvious danger.
Fanatik aja lawan tim
There you go. Thank you very much. Zil is that man right there.
Gak ada harapan ya, sumpah.
He has been so
Mungkin
damn
sih.
problematic for them in every single round. To say he deserves the victory
Masih.
is definitely true, but there have been many
Ini belum kelar juga masalahnya.
This position almost an opener already for Durka.
Belum kelar ini masalahnya.
Might be the opener for Alpha. Looked like Yumpy was ready for it. Oh, there's a little gap in that wall. I don't think they've noticed. Oh, now they have. Boaster was in a little bit of danger if he went out wider. Flank around by Nats being watched. Boaster ready for it, you would think, but Nats is that little better this time. A double kill from him. Kiko grabbing one up behind A and a triple to close it. 14-12. They won't let go of this lead as a third map is locked in. We're going all the way to Lotus, and with 13-11 and an overtime victory, you better not go anywhere. This last map is going to be a banger coming up after this.
Ya udah, kamu mau aku off kan? Ya udah aku off nih. Ya udah, aku off. Disuruh Farisa, nggak dibolehin dia live ternyata. Oke, apa aja lah. Oke, thank you yang udah buat nonton, yang mampir atau nggak ngechat, dan yang ngechat tapi nggak mampir. Thank you semua, bye bye.